What if I told you that one of the most spectacular mating rituals on Earth is being performed for an audience that's vanishing by the day? Picture a vast sea of grass, stretching to the horizon under an open sky. From this golden landscape, a bird erupts into the air. It's about the size of a chicken, but with an impossible elegance. It hovers, then drops, then springs up again, its black and white plumage flashing in the sun. This is the Bengal florican, and this dizzying dance is its way of saying, "I am here, this is my home." But the stage for this performance is shrinking, and the dancer is running out of room. This isn't just the story of a bird in trouble. It's the story of an entire ecosystem fading before our eyes, and the quiet battle to save a living masterpiece from disappearing forever. To understand why this bird is so vulnerable, you have to first understand the world it was built for. The Bengal florican is a creature of immense, open wetlands and seasonally flooded grasslands. For centuries, these vast plains in India and Cambodia were its kingdom. It's a terribly shy bird, relying on tall grass for cover from predators and for nesting. It doesn't live in forests or mountains. It needs this specific, flat, grassy world, and for a long time that world was secure. But then the world began to change around it. The primary threat wasn't a hunter's gun or a new disease. It was something far more systematic, the conversion of its home into something else. The incredibly fertile soil that supported these grasslands was perfect for something humans needed even more: rice. So one by one, the vast plains were drained and plowed. The grass was replaced by neat, green rows of rice paddies. What was a perfect home for the florican became a factory for food. This was the first, and perhaps most devastating, blow, but it wasn't the only one. As human populations grew, the demand for land intensified. The grasslands were seen as waste, land, empty and ready for development. Flood control projects stopped the seasonal waters that nourished the grass. In some areas, commercial plantations for crops like tea and jute carved up the landscape. The wide, open stages were fragmented into tiny, isolated patches. A florican born in one patch could no longer find a mate in another. Its world became a collection of islands in a sea of farmland, and the distance between them was too great to cross. The dance of the male florican, once a declaration of territory in a vast domain, was now a performance in a cramped and lonely theater. The grass was shorter, the horizons were closer, and the chances of a female seeing his display grew slimmer every year. The situation reached a crisis point. From thousands of birds, the population plummeted to perhaps fewer than 1,000 adults scattered across 2 countries. The Bengal florican was sliding silently toward extinction. But just as the curtain was about to fall, a small group of conservationists stepped in. They realized that saving the florican meant saving its stage. The strategy had to be twofold: protect what was left and restore what was lost. The first step was to identify the last, best places. In Cambodia, key grasslands were designated as protected areas. But putting a line on a map wasn't enough. You had to make protection real. This meant working with the communities who lived on the edges of these lands. Rangers were hired from local villages. They became the eyes and ears on the ground, patrolling for illegal land clearing and preventing poaching, which had become another threat to the beleaguered birds. But the most innovative part of the plan was addressing the root cause: the economic pressure to convert land. Conservation groups began to experiment with something called bird-friendly rice. They worked with farmers to delay their harvest by just a few weeks, allowing florican chicks, which nest on the ground in the grass, the critical time they need to fledge and escape the blades of the combine harvesters. In return, the farmer's rice was certified and sold at a premium, creating a direct financial incentive to share the land. It was a simple, elegant solution, making the living bird more valuable than the land it lived on. Meanwhile, in India, efforts focused on managing the grasslands within existing wildlife sanctuaries. Controlled burning, a traditional practice, was reintroduced to prevent shrubs and trees from invading the open plains. It was a delicate balance, maintaining the perfect grass height for hiding and for displaying. The work was slow, tedious, and often frustrating, but slowly the decline began to slow. In a few key areas, the number of displaying males stabilized and then, incredibly, began to creep upward. Each spring, when the rangers went out to count the dancing males, they held their breath, and each sighting was a victory. A male, launching himself into the air over a grassland that was almost lost, was a testament to the fact that it wasn't too late. The story of the Bengal florican is far from over. It is still one of the most threatened birds on the planet. The pressures of development are relentless, but it has become a powerful symbol. It has shown that even the most specialized and vulnerable species can be given a fighting chance. Its survival is no longer just about saving a single bird. It's about recognizing the value of these overlooked grasslands, ecosystems that are biodiversity hotspots, carbon sinks, and natural water filters. Saving the florican means saving an entire world. The dance continues for now. A flash of black and white against a blue sky, a moment of wild beauty in a changing world. It is a reminder that some things are too unique, too magnificent to lose without a fight. What other invisible ecosystems, like grasslands or wetlands, do you think are the most critical to protect? Share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Rare Species to help us tell more stories of the wild world hanging in the balance.